Hello everyone, Caillou here, and today we're going to be covering the losers round 3 match of the Revolution World Championship. This is the third iteration of the yearly bracket of the Revolution World Championships, which is essentially an invitational tournament as compared to the Open and which are monthly. The World Championships takes the winners of each of the monthly tournaments in each of the league seasons of the prior year, invites them to play the current format, and it's kind of just like a overall celebration of the format. So this matchup is the losers round 3 matchup. We have Cool Beans on Mono Green Land Reanimate, which is a very cool new brew, which essentially uses cards that turn your lands into creatures in combination with some of the ruin lands that come from the Olden. Because when you animate them, some of them have special properties. Because usually animating sets their power and toughness to 0/0, gives them some counters, or just sets their power and toughness or whatever. But then there's a ruin land that has double strike. There's another one that has trample and haste and some other abilities. So together makes the deck very potent. However, right now, Beans is having a rough start. They kept a 5 land hand and kind of haven't drawn much more action. And by 5 lands, I mean opening. They mulled to 5 and kept to 5 lands. At the opposite end of the table is Nyx, who is playing Esper, Enchantress, and Troll. It's a very strong deck that functions by essentially you have a bunch of permanents that give you value, but while also doing like regular control functions like Omen of Deception functions as your quench slot, etc. And then if you get your devotion up, you get some payoffs with cards like Ephara's Judge, which allow you to choose multiple modes. You can copy the enchantments to give you their effects again. You can flicker the enchantments with stuff like redeploy. So essentially, it takes advantage of the fact that lots of its interaction is enchantment-based and therefore plays to the board, and then has a bunch of different little synergy. Right now, we have Seeker of New Horizon being played as Elysian Guardian. It looks like trying to animate a Hate the Wild One. Okay, I don't know why. I wonder why you would animate the Wild One. I guess because it still has the... Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd... Because, yeah, I don't think it really matters, but I think that way... Yeah, if you made the forest and then... Nyx lets that resolve because I guess they didn't want... I guess the idea is you play a plane, play Founding of the 12, and then banish to the Isle the Elysian Guardian. So you gain back 3 of the life that you just lost, and O-ring away one threat, get a blocker off Founding of the 12. The Founding of the 12 top deck is pretty... And now, untap next turn. You probably want to untap next turn and play Banish to the Isle if you can. Like, you want to top deck a land, and then play Banish to the Isle, because if you're Nyx, you want to play Banish to the Isle so that you get your devotion to white up to 4 so that you have an Ephara's Judgment threshold. And then it doesn't really matter if you play Ephara's Judgment, so you want to draw a land, Banish the Isle something, and then, okay, Cool Beans is out of cards in hand, is going to play an Eyes Gone Blind. Nyx is going to let that resolve. Interesting. Oh yeah, I mean, actually, sorry, it's tapped out. Otherwise could have read. I think if you are Cool Beans, you have to grab the Acolyte, the Ascetic, which I think Beans might be kicking themselves a bit, leaving the Testament Hill. Like, I guess I see the logic, right, where it's like you want to have the spell charge, but then could have, if Cool Beans had left a green open, could have Stensider's Acolyte through counter magic, which would have been very strong for this. Right now, Path to Phoenix is a wood excellent top deck. It doesn't actually have double black sword. Unfortunate consequence of playing 3-color deck is throwing yourself out of that, but does have 2 counter spells in Redeploy and Ephara's Judgment, both of which are face up. I don't know. I think you just straight up pass the turn, because again, all of your options are also Nexus Touch and all of that. So I think you just attack with. Yeah, there's nothing to, like, you can't banish the island thing. Redeploy the Phoenixes and try to draw into a black source, I guess. But that seems insanely green. And like, yeah, I don't know what Nyx is trying to think here, especially since both of Beans' cards are no. So I don't know that. I'm not sure what the thought process was. Imposing Oddity is quite good if it resolves. The issue is, and I guess you do kind of need spells to keep spell charge, and spell charge 4 isn't there. Cool Beans. I think honestly, yeah, if I'm Cool Beans, I play Imposing Oddity for 3 to try and get past a second Omen of Deception. And then next turn you can Ardent Ascetic plus Stensider's Acolyte to try and animate the Oddity. I think that makes... Um, Unfortunately, Nyx kind of does just have this game a little bit in the palm of their because again, the humans from founding of the 12 make it so that uh, Nyx has kind of an endless stream of just pretty excellent chump blockers, and then the redeploy plus a Farsighter plus banish the Isle, you have like so much inter. Okay, instead Beans is gonna play out the Ardent Acolyte, which Nyx lets resolve. Makes sense. Does just cantrip and does really provide meaningful pressure. Haven the Wild Ones take the one? Yeah. You want to save the human for a potentially. Main 2 is going to try and play out the Stensider's Acolyte, which Nyx does have to count. So he's going to redeploy the Omen of encounter the Stensiders and also draw a card off, which is quite good. And hits a Benthelos. Benthelos is like really good here because you can it gives you another angle to counter your own. It gives you can copy Founding of the 12. And that's really excellent. Like gives you instant speed access to banish the Isle, and most importantly, it gives you a third blue and white pit. So you want to try and run out Benthelos before Afara's Judge. So yeah, on end step, I think I would just you just run out the Benthelos, copy Founding of the 12. That gives you like such good offensive pressure because then you have double modes on Afara's Judgment up. Yeah, this is really that's an excellent top deck. I don't see a way that Cool Beans has out of this because yeah, Benthelos comes down, copies Founding of the 12. You untap next turn again. Okay, In Search of Peace is also. I think you just keep up the Afara's Judgment. No reason to get greedy, and then you can just start attacking with your board. Actually, how much does 100-handed pillars cost to end? Your devotion is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, that's so 100-handed pillars only cost 1, so you can just attack with vigilance and still have mana for Afara's Judgment. So yeah, I think Nyx has got this game all but locked up. Buried Oathbreaker from do much is kind of the problem. Again, with Nyx having Afara's Judgment and banish the Isle. Interesting. So Beans plays out Acolyte, it resolves, and then tries to Imposing Oddity for thinking about what to. Looks like is gonna play the Afara's Judgment for all 3 modes. And I guess the plan was to animate the Haven. Stensiders is still pretty annoying, like on board, but I guess you can just banish to the Islet. Yeah, what do you even want at this? I think if you're. Yeah, okay, gets a. Okay, yeah, that is. I was gonna say you want another land and preferably a black source for Path of Phoenix. So next turn you just untap. You play In Search of. You play Path of Phoenix, and then you flicker. I guess you flicker your Phoenix's Touch. Oh, actually, you play Afara instead. Okay, yeah. So this is just all okay. And Beans is gonna concede there. That was just a downhill match from minute 1, right? Like Beans theoretically should have the upper hand in that matchup. But when you're on a multi-5 and you keep a hand with just lands to control deck, I think that never ends well. So, out of the sideboard, so looking at Nyx's deck, the Stormscraper and Hoarding Culebra are probably for like more control. Like Stormscraper's probably for like more mid-range matchups. Hoarding Culebra for control. You want the Conspiracy of Welts versus graveyard decks. Asahi's Final Front. I guess that this is a grind card with In Search of Peace. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything you really want out of the side particularly. I think the deck just functions fine. You maybe want Drift Off, but I don't. Yeah, like the deck goes like it goes under Bind and Silence. Drift Off is second to Banish the Isle here, in my opinion. But yeah, I think that the main deck is quite strong already. On Cool Beans' side, you bring in 3 New Growth, you bring in 3 Reclaim by Nature. I think you're pretty good with that. I could see Nyx maybe bringing in Bind and Silences to try and name the enchantment removal. But I think that's maybe you just have to. I think you just play the counter game. I don't know. We'll see how, especially because the stuff that you do, the enchantments you do play. I guess if you're trying to remove the artifacts, we'll just have to see how the game goes. But I think that Nyx, the only thing I can see Nyx bringing in is the Bind and Silences to try and counter Cool Beans' sideboard plan of bringing it. So getting into game 2, Cool Beans is going to drop a turn 2 Restless Wood. Has a bunch of this game has a bunch of their best animatable ruins with Alranta Unleashed, Twinblade Gate. Doesn't have a way to animate them other than Restless Woods. But actually getting the Restless Woods under counter magic. So now it forces Nyx to tap out for an O-Ring if Nyx remove it. Looks like Nyx is just going to play a turn 2 Founding of the 12, maybe? Yeah, it doesn't have any other cards to play. And I don't think keeping up Omen of the Slaughter makes. On Beans' side, next turn, drop Ardent. Oh no, oh no, okay, you drop Forgotten Cultivator and start drawing cards. This is a much better start for. And then next turn you can decide whether you want to Eyes Gone Blind to make the Forgotten Cultivator or just go for broke. See, Ardent Ascetic coming down. Nyx has no, like, you don't want to use an Omen of Slaughter and Ardent Ascetic, but now you kind of have to. So, say if you're Beans, yeah, you play Elronta. The problem is Beans doesn't actually have a fifth playable land because Elronta is legendary. Because in response to Twin Blade Gates getting spell charge is going to Omen of Slaughter. Oh, Restless Woods is quite good with all of these ruin lands. Yeah, I don't see this really well. Could Path of... I guess is going to go for that. Play though. This is the best play Nyx has available. If you're Cool Beans, you obviously just discard Elronta. And then I think you probably discard... you discard... Eyes Gone Blind has flashback, so you can just discard that. This isn't a weird... because you want to ideally and don't have that do so. I feel like you play Forgotten... Okay, what you do here, you play Forgotten Cultivator, hope to hit a land off of Forgotten Cultivator, and then that Forgotten Cultivator will animate your Twin Blade game. Just play it... Yeah. Actually, Forgotten Cultivator will just animate your... Stenciders is just, like, not good, because it takes a turn to actually... So I think, yeah, you should just play... The Forgotten Cultivator draws you a card, it allows you to swing in for 6 damage, and threatens to kill next. No, what are you doing? Why? Why do you want to play Stenciders this turn? This feels like a bad... Like, you kill next turn without this, I'm pretty sure. And then, yeah, because... Well, plays a Stensider, at start of combat, you get another Restless... Because the thought is, if you just grab a land... Oh, Restless Woods counts whenever a land you control. Okay, it's not whenever one or more. Oh, that's quite good. So that triggers Testament Hill, and the problem here is that you no longer have a way to spell charge these. Or I guess, no, you have... No, but Eyes Gone Blind then takes up all of your mana, so you can't actually Eyes Gone Blind to spell charge. So Okay, so Stensider's Acolyte, use Stensider's Acolyte, animate... Yeah, and now Nyx is gonna redeploy the Path of Fiend to force Cool Beans to not have a hand. But I think the thing is, I think that doesn't matter, because then Beans just Restless Woods or Stensider's Acolyte to animate, you animate Elronta, and that's a 9/9 Trampler. And the Reclaimed by Nature in response is clutch. Except it isn't. Okay, in response, Nyx is going to concede, but I actually think that may have been a bad play, potentially, because then you couldn't animate a land that turn. Like, I think both of Cool Beans' plays that game were a little more conservative than I'd expect. I think that you need to just go for the kill. Like, you have an overwhelming, like again, you could have done 6 damage. Like, that would have just killed outright if Beans had gone for a more aggressive play. But anyways, we're up to 1-1. But the next game is going to be the first game that Nyx gets to play on the play, which is important for, again, getting counter magic under this Restless Woods, and in general having interaction up before Beans. But again, Beans has a bunch of 1-drops like Stensider's Acolyte and the Seeker of New Horizons, so could be difficult for Nyx to actually combat if Beans gets another like bomb. Beans keeping 7 again, another with Twin Blade Gates again, and turn to Restless. Now Nyx could turn to Bind and Silence, which Nyx did bring it. Name Restless, but otherwise Nyx's hand here is actually pretty bad. Redeploy and In Search of Peace don't have good targets to actually flicker. Like, I could see Nyx having to redeploy Flicker a Bind and Silence to just get the card. Yeah, you name Restless 2-drop. Yeah, so Restless Wood. So Beans can't make a proactive play here. Can still keep up the Reclaimed by Nature, and on Nyx end step force the redeploy probably, which is very funny. But yeah, I think that, and then turn 3, you just play the Elrontan Visionary, and just to essentially draw a card. Not having the Restless Woods here is like a little annoying, but I don't think because you still have Imposing Oddity as like a way to trigger your spell charge. Nyx is gonna tap out for In Search of, which I think does literally nothing. It would have been better to redeploy. Now, Beans on end step just blow up the Bind and Silence. You blow up Bind and Silence, you get your Restless Woods. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all you need. I guess the worry is you play Restless Woods, Nyx untaps, plays like an O-ring or something on your life sucks. I think that that's just a sensible play. Like, I guess there is a part of it where it's like, if you see someone tap out turn for In Search of Peace, you think that means that they're setting up for a big play next. You want to kill the engine before it can actually pop off. Um, so Cool Beans has to decide, are they going to go for the conservative plays they've been going for this entire match, or are they going to go for the aggressive? And I think you have to go for the aggressive one, because otherwise, well, Nyx has had a god-awful opening start. If Nyx gets to turn 5 and gets to play a Stormscraper of Ketaphos, I don't see how Cool Beans can... Or Cool Beans can, but it would just be very, very hard. Ooh, and Beans eventually decides to hit the In Search of... I think that's the wrong call. Yeah, especially because with the Stensider's Acolyte top deck, you would go Restless Woods, Stensider's Acolyte, Spell Charge Twin Blade Gate, and start pumping it up. You still get Stensider's Acolyte or Alrontan Vision. I think you want the Stensider's Acolyte, but I guess the Alrontan Vision. Yeah, I think the problem is you really needed that Restless... Again, Beans keeps choosing these conservative plays, which I think could come back to bite them. Is going to Imposing on... And then next turn you animate Twin Blade Gates using Alrontan Visionary? Okay. Or you could... No, wait, you just Stensider's Acolyte. And I guess the thought is Imposing Oddity means that you can sack Imposing Oddity to an Omen of Slaughter. Okay, that makes sense, actually. I like that. Because then you animate Imposing Oddity. Or sorry, you can't animate Imposing Oddity. Stensider's Acolyte, the twin. So you have to... No, what is going on? Okay, just going for the forest? Oh no, Stensider's Acolyte untapped. Okay, so yeah. I guess you could just sack the Stensider's Acolyte itself to Omen of Slaughter. Whatever. So Twin Blade Gate swings in as a 4/4 double striker. We love to see. And then on end, Nyx is going to redeploy the Bind and Silence. Oh, redeploy. I guess you can just redeploy the land. I guess the idea is the reason to do this is if you hit a Benthelos of land. Okay, now Nyx can play Stormscraper and then try to just race. The Stormscraper also trades with Twin Blade Gates, technically. I think this is sleeper really good, but I don't know if it's enough. Yeah, like, actually, Stormscraper just copying Bind and Silence is pretty bad, but I guess ideally you want to trade with the Twin Blade Gates and just try to slow down pressure. Stensider's Acolyte, animating Twin Blade Gate. Yeah, and I guess the plan is just swing in with your 4/4 double striker. Kills and it's up to... If Nyx wants to trade, Nyx can have the trade. And Nyx is not taking the trade. So how Nyx doesn't die next. Oh, Founding of the 12. Oh my god, what is he top deck? Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's nuts. Founding of the 12, you swing in with Stormscraper of Ketaphos, you copy it. Oh my god, that just turned the entire game around. My god. And then Omen of Deception makes 2 blockers, and then you just keep copying Founding of the 12 turn after turn. And every time you hit a non-creature spell, you just keep getting... And unless Cool Beans hits an Alranta, it doesn't have a trend. Has 2 ways to dig with Forgotten Cultivator and Alrontan Vision. But yeah, I think you have to, right? You play... Okay, he's going to play Forgotten Cultivator. Okay, he's going to play the Alrontan Vision. Nyx is going to force attacks and make a 2/1/1. So now has 2 blockers for the Twin Blade Gates and Haven of the Wild Ones, respective. And then Cool Beans is just going to let this be countered. I think that's a mistake. I guess the thought is Nyx is empty and you swing with Twin Blade and Haven and force them to block both of them. Or wait, no, you have 3 attackers because now you have Imposing Oddity as well. Because Imposing Oddity... No, wait, you don't have... Beans thinking of attacking with Acolyte? The Beans is going to attack with... No, is attacking with... No, don't attack with... Because I was thinking if you don't attack with Twin Blades, Haven has... So you can actually just play Forgotten Cultivator and dig deep. Don't do that. Don't attack with Twin... Yeah, just attack with Haven. Haven can't be killed by Nyx. You go main 2, you play your Forgotten Cultivator. Oh, that is clever. So Nyx doesn't block it, and then Beans gets to turn it into a 4/4 at instant speed thanks to Stensiders, and just wins the game. Oh my god, what a way to win it. Nyx should have just taken block. But yeah, that was a pretty uphill game. Nyx just had their hand was really bad. They had no relevant interaction, and Beans just closes it out. And so after, honestly, those are some crushing back and forths. Game 1, Beans just had nothing. Game 2, Beans had the nuts, and then Game 3, Nyx had nothing. So that does mean, though, that Nyx is now out of Worlds, and with that, Beans moves on to Losers semifinal, Losers quarterfinal, to play against Platy People on Black-Red Ruin. It's going to be interesting because now we have the non-traditional mono-green build that is Cool Beans' pioneering brew, and the more traditional mid-rangey black-red deck to see which one. I think that the mono green version honestly has so much that it can be that if the black red deck doesn't have some good interaction to back it up, I think mono green might be able to take it, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Until next time, this is Caillou.